race. So the work that we do, with the people inside is so important because it's up to us to be able to give people hope and to be able to be a guide and support. And so I love the fact that you all are writing letters and you all are supporting people and you're giving them hope, because believe it or not, even if those people aren't writing, I'm telling you, those letters mean everything to people inside. When they call your name to come get that piece of mail, it's like the Price is Right. When people are running down, that is what it's like when you get a piece of mail when you're inside. And so oftentimes, I think sometimes people are at a loss of words to be able to respond, and they have, there's certain things that they may be going through personally, but I can tell you that it does mean something. So don't be discouraged when you're writing people, just know that there may be other factors. And right now, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing, is the fact that because of everything's happening with COVID and with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, they've been locked down way more than they have ever been locked down. So initially they were locked down and then shelter in place because of COVID, and they're like, we want to separate people and make sure people have space, this and the other. But then when all the unrest began, then they were like, well, we don't want them tearing up our prisons, we don't want them attacking the COs, and so now we're going to really lock them down. And I'm like, how can you lock people down they're already locked down? So that means they took away TV time, they took away their ways to be able to communicate. So they, at one point, they weren't able to make calls, they weren't able to do emails. So there are all these barriers, and so there's these levels of trauma that are being inflicted upon people. And I keep explaining to people, like, most people go into prison with some type of trauma, then being in prison is traumatic, COVID-19 is traumatic, and then being locked down because of civil unrest is even more traumatic. So imagine all these layers of trauma that the people that are currently inside are enduring. And there are no real mental health services, because what's happening right now, no one can go into the prisons and do any of this work. So they're not being serviced on top of everything else, so it's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of support that's needed. I sent that just us because Ohio is actually one of the key areas that they're looking at for that campaign, because of how many COVID cases we currently have in our state and the fact that our numbers are not really going down and it's kind of just cycling. So that's a big issue for us here in Ohio. And it's nationally, we are known, like us in Louisiana, have like some of the highest number of COVID cases in our prison systems right now.